Welcome back to Les Schwab Tire Center's Outdoor GPS. It's time for Owin's Field Report, sponsored by Les Schwab Tire Centers.
Welcome back, everyone. Now, this week, much like we mentioned last Sunday, right? We had a lot of water that had come into the area. Willamette was going to explode and mud out, and it just wasn't obviously going to be an option for the most part. Now, just to give it up a little bit, as things turned over, there was some interesting things that had happened. There was a fish here, one there, all in the likely areas of the high, muddy water. And there's a handful of those spots up and down the system, all the way through the channel and all the way up to the falls, right? So there's certainly some fish in the system. When things did drop back into shape, and we're going to get there in a minute, people started to get a little excited about it last day or two. There's still plenty of participation of folks chasing steelhead, and that's what I was doing, right? I was only able to get out a couple of times this week, and I mentioned already, no photos. Well, I was in the big boat, and when you hook a fish solo and they're wild, you just can't get photos. I tried. Thank goodness the phone landed in the net. I got the phone out of the net, and the fish too. That was the end of that one. So there's certainly some options there as well. Things are, of course, starting to wind down. It is the first week of March. Most everyone is starting to get very much keyed up on chasing springers. Overall, if you were going to just, your bonsai, you got to go out and try to get it, get that early fish or that first one of the year. There was a couple that were caught on the Columbia from the mouth of the Willamette down. And like I mentioned already, one here, one there on the Willamette when you're referring to spring Chinook. So enough to get excited about? Nah, not so much, but still, when things do come back around, because it's going to go out again, when that Willamette becomes a viable option, maybe a little bit more so than the Columbia because of the temperature on the Columbia, it should be go time, right? We always say that. But let's take a look at the river levels, give you an idea of actually what, what these things are really going to look like. And we'll show you the turbidity for today because you really only have a very small windows. But first, let's take a look at fish counts to make sure that we have, well, we'll go here. Well, the Willamette. Now, you can tell, just like I mentioned last Sunday, things were going to turn over and drop and come into shape, right? Well, it did happen. It's down there. And it's certainly going to go back out again, right? Turbidity is at a spot where you could be comfortable heading out there, right? It's right at 11. Now, that's always been my cutoff. From 11 and under, I'm confident enough that if I got my baits in front of a Chinook and I did things right, which half the time I don't, if not more, that you're going to get bit. At least they can see your gear. You can see your prop at 11. And that's where it's at right now. Now, is it going to last long based on what we just saw on that forecast for the Willamette? Not long. Today, maybe tomorrow, and then it's going to go back on the rise, which is not the time to be chasing them anyway, and the turbidity will also go out at the same time. So let's take a look at some of the smaller rivers. I believe that one there, that's the Columbia. It is, not high by any means. Got some pretty tall tides, but there has been some options there. The water's clean, of course. It's just very, very cold in comparison to, say, the Willamette, hence the reason why the Willamette generally is more productive early. Not that that can't be reversed, of course. Clackamas River, my home river, about ready to get a little bit of water just like everything else around the area. If it's along the coast, Central Coast, it's all about to go up a bit. They're forecasting in excess of 2 to 3 inches of rain in the next handful of days. We'll find out from Andy Carson. We have a special guest with our weather this morning here in a bit to find out how much it's actually going to be. So yeah, things are going to bounce a bit, which is all good stuff. If you're going to be, a lot like me, I'm still focused on chasing some steelhead as long as the conditions will allow me to do so. Certainly, again, winding down, but it doesn't mean that they're not available for you if you want to get out there and chase those a little bit before you switch gears to spring Chinook. Now, don't forget, send an email to our good friend over there at Procure, Jason Hambley, right? Jason at Procure.com. You'll be entered in to win a weekly prize pack. It is, of course, set up for steelhead currently, but that will, I believe, change. When I get high pitch like that, not quite sure, but it's going to change over to a more Chinook prize pack. How about that? All right, let's go ahead and find out what this weather is really going to do this upcoming week. Now, of course, like everybody else in this state and Washington as well, like all of us, we've already learned a little bit on KPDX and KPTV this morning from Andy, but there certainly are some changes, and it looks like we got some light at the end of the tunnel.
We do.
Like
we really
literally, but we got some rain coming.
Or as Owin would say, we have some light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah, we have the rain coming in right now, scattered showers. You can see that from the Portland Thorns camera on the lens. In fact, 51 degrees, pretty mild temperatures at this hour of the day. All the rain that's coming in along the coast, in through parts of the metropolitan area. We take it in nice and tight, picking up that hit and miss shower activity, which will be the story for us today. Most everybody in the metro in the 40s. We are starting to see a few places pop up in the low 50s, not only Portland, but Vancouver and into Milwaukee. Don't expect a real big warm up through the rest of the day. Here's the cloud, rain, snow forecast map. Notice 2 o'clock this afternoon, might even see a little sunbreak or two out there. Some scattered rain showers out there. Tomorrow morning, again, a rainy start, some snow up in the Cascades. I think the majority of the heavier rain is going to hold off until Monday, and then we'll see some pretty steady rain Monday and also quite a bit of rain on Tuesday. So rainfall amounts, Owen was talking about this a moment ago, not a lot today. Maybe a little over 1/10 of an inch of rain here in Portland. A little bit more up in Astoria, getting about 7/10 of an inch. But take this in through the rest of the day. On Sunday, we're getting closer to an inch in Portland, about 2 1/3 inches in Tillamook, well over 2 1/2 in Astoria. We take it through Tuesday. Now we're starting to flirt with that 4-inch amount of rain out along parts of the coast. 1.2 inches of rain in the Portland area. And then finally, we do outdo that 4 inches of rain out along the coast once we take it all the way through the end of the day on Tuesday. So a lot of rain out along the coast, pretty decent amount here in the valley, talking about 1.5 inches in Salem between now and all the way into Tuesday evening. So a rainy 4 days, especially for Sunday, Monday into Tuesday. Today, occasional showers in 53, 52 for the high Sunday. There's that rainy day Monday. Tuesday could bring a chance for thunderstorms, high 52. And then the big change, the light at the end of the tunnel. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 50 with dry weather Wednesday. Mostly sunny Thursday and 66. Owen, brace yourselves. Friday, back to the flip-flops, sunshine, and 73 degrees for you.
You know me too well. That's the first thing I was going to say is the flip-flops are coming out, man.
I know.
Hey, Andy, thank you very much. It's great to see you. We appreciate the info, as always.
You betcha. Take care.
All right, everyone. First thing, before we wrap this segment up, I got a big thanks to throw out there for Arnie. Arnie came in and dropped off some gear for Michael Walker, the gentleman or the young man that we talked about this past week that had his storage unit broken into, where all of his gear was stolen. And this is the same young man that goes out and cleans up the rivers for all of us, really. So very unfortunate. But Arnie came in, dropped off some gear, rod and reels, and even a gift card for Fisherman's Marine. So, Michael, we've got that sitting here waiting for you. And Joel, I think, is going to be coming in and grabbing that. But at the very least, Arnie, thanks for that. I mean, that's what this community is about, is helping. And there's been others that have joined in as well. This is just one that I'm exposed to when I came in this morning. Everyone wanting to help out as much as possible. Just very, very cool. And Arnie, thanks for doing that, taking your time to do that, sir. That's extremely cool. That's why this outdoor community is so special. All right, we're going to cut to a quick break. When we come back, I'm going to have Austin Mosier from Austin's Northwest Adventures. Ryan, I said it correctly. He's live from the east side of Washington chasing walleye and triploid trout. When we come back from this break, we'll see how things are going real time. Cross your fingers. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes.
Outdoor GPS is brought to you by P-Line, because we fish, by Hawken Fishing, perfection in fishing gear, and by Haxton's Canvas and Upholstery, the trusted name of the Pacific Northwest.